Okay. Okay. Let's go. Right. お願いします。
お願いします。
Okay. Right. Just do some stuff. Okay, moving front and back. And side to side. Rotating. Great, and uppercut. Okay, right, taking a deep breath in, coming up. And engine down. Okay, let's take it to the shoulders when you're ready. And take it forwards. Circle one side. And change direction. Into the arm. And change. Great. Second the elbows. And change direction. Second the fist. And taking elbows back. Through, chin up over the side. Side. Change. Change. Okay. Right, and the hips, nice big circles. And change. And then circle in the knees. Changing direction. Keep coming down. Stretch it back. And go down. Chin back. And that's one. Great. Press forward into the hands. Bring the legs out to the back. Stretch that a little bit. Head slowly drop towards the mat. The ground. Elbows down. If you can, bring your hands up over the head, linking them at the back. Couple of deep breaths here. Let the hands come back down. Keep the hips back, both hands forward, out. Nice and slow, just bringing the hands back. Walk the feet together. Lengthen the body down. Yes, going towards the legs. Couple of deep breaths. Nice and slowly, just tracing up the legs. Okay, great. Let's do a few foundation blocks. So just coming into the hinge position, bring the hips back, just reach into it, and come back out, so that's pulsing through it. Nice deep breath in as you go into it. Nice big breath out as you come up. Okay, next one, just hold the position. 2 or 3 nice deep breaths. Next breath in, start to raise the hands up, little finger, spiral in the palm, reach up, hold it, couple of deep breaths in, out. Next breath out, again, coming down to the ground. Let the hips really go back. Let the spine, let it curl. Rest it a little bit. Reach the hips back a little bit. Bring the hands so that the fingertips are kind of sinking into the ground, but there's not so much weight in them. So just gently feel that you can, the weight's still in the feet. If you're sticking the fingertips into the ground, but not so much weight there. Hold it. You feel the hips, feet anchoring in the ground. You're going to turn the palm up, one side, reach up and out. Hold it for one breath. And as you breathe out, bring it back down. Bring the other one up. Hold for one breath as you come to position. And then exhale, breath, bring it down. Each time, just reset the hips, reset the fingertips. Reach up. Reach out the left side. Just a few, just in your own time, follow the breath, anchor the body, reach up and out. Last one, just hold the hands back in place. Fix the hips again, fix the feet, pull the back long, pull up to the shin bone. Nice deep breath in here and then the breath out. Pull the body up. And just release the back. Get that tension out. Okay. Great. We'll just go into lunge position. Let's get that kind of elastic. Weights 50-50. Back heels off the ground, both toes forwards. Hips spiraling. Pulling the arms out long. Nice deep breath in. Let the hips float up a little bit. Pull the chest up long, pull the neck back a little bit. Bring the hands together, body still straight up. Just hinging over the front hip, and pulling yourself back. Hinging forwards. And let it come from the hip, reaching down. The front knee back as you come forwards. And then just hold that front position. Move the hinge forward. And just rotating out to the side using the hip. Pulsing out of it. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. And let it really come from that back hip. Just give you time to follow the breath. And then just fixing that front position again. And then think about spiraling up and out. Hold it, couple of deep breaths. Scissor the legs together. Hold you in place, spiral a little bit deeper. One more breath. And the out breath, fully so back to center. Release the arms down. Release the leg a little bit. And we will change sides. Same thing. It's that wide lunge. Weight 50-50. Nice springiness in the body. The knees are released. And just have a couple of deep breaths, come wide. And just reaching the arms out. Back nice and long. And get in the feet. And again, slowing knees up, letting the hip hinge forwards and pull back. Loading the weight a little bit more into the front leg as you come into the hinge. And pull back 50-50. And just holding that front hinge. And initiating from the hip. Roll into the sides. Deep breath in. Out as you pull back to center. A couple more. And then take it into a spiral. Hold it a couple of breaths. Just anchor the feet into the ground. If you can, take it a little bit higher, a little bit out. Different breath. Next out breath, pull yourself back to center. Let the arms relax. Shake the body out a little bit. Great. Okay, just do one more wide leg and we'll go into the windmill position. So I'm putting the hands out. So just start wide as you kind of feel comfortable. Just start wide again. Nice deep breaths in. Hinging back, reaching forward. Squeeze the fingertips together. Reach up. Keep the hands together. This one. Next breath out. Hinge down. Let the hands just settle into the ground. Make sure they're kind of level with the chest, shoulders, and then just raising one up. Allow yourself to kind of, in this case, we'll go that fingertip position again. Allow the thumb is going to trace up the forearm, roll up to the shoulder, and then open out to the top, and then trace it back down. And then switch the hand. Trace all the way up, open up, and take it down. And just link the breath to it as well. So nice deep breath in, all the way up, and moving out, coming down. Just check all the time when you're doing it. Feet are still taking the majority of the weight. Fingers are really doing not so much. If anything, they're kind of lifting you out of the ground. Fingers are kind of pressing in, reaching a little bit higher with that arm. Just a couple more each side. One more. And then find the hands again. The fingertips. Settle the hip. Fix the feet into the ground. Find the shin bone. Nice deep breath out as you come up. Roll yourself all the way up. You come back to normal. Shake out a little bit. Shake the legs. And the wrists. And the arms. Just fixing the feet, shakes through the whole body. And let the feet really settle into the ground. Full pulse all the way through the body. And settle the body back down. And just a few deep breaths coming in from the center. Just reach up to the ceiling and then spread out in the out breath. Some calm. Just floating the arms up. back down. Swan. Again, just let the body settle. Sink into the ground a little bit more. Feel the top of the head, fingertips, toes. Great. Okay, anybody got any requests? I'm totally blank what to do. anything anyone to do? Any burning desires? 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘏𝗀𝗡𝗠, ATEMI.
Let's do ATEMI then.
Let's do some ATEMI. Okay, good idea. We'll not do weapons. Or we'll maybe do a little bit of weapons. Let's do some ATEMI. Okay. So we'll start nice basic. Actually, it keeps coming up. So I'll keep teaching ATEMI next time. Okay, let's try. We'll just start nice and just find the ground. Kind of loosen the body off anyway, but just play with it. Just releasing out the arm. Releasing out the arm. Really nice exercise. Just really, well, one, loosen the joint system, but really get this idea of the weight actually being in the core of the body, the structure hitting the ground. Hitting the ground. So the main thing with all the ATEMI work is really about transmitting of weight, right? So same thing that we do with weapons. Just think of that action. We'll take it obviously into the strike. Think of that movement out and what needs to happen in the body in terms to balance that movement out. And if I'm to apply weight to it, where would that weight need to kind of transmit also from the ground and into the ground basically. Just play with as you do this. Keep it light, keep it loose, but just play with a little bit of pressure out. You don't have to make a fist with it. Just play with the idea of a little bit of pressure coming out of the body. You can also do this with two hands. You're basically taking it towards a push in a sense, which is really the basis of the ski work that we do. Just play with a gentle kind of push out, push out, push out, push out, push out. You do it this way. Do one side, do both. Nice. Nice. Great. Okay, perfect. Great. So we'll stick with the push a little bit. So, in a sense, it's the easiest one to start with, but also for Aikido, it's quite difficult as well, because we go into pushing that we would do like this kind of pushing. And what you want to do is still like align to the stuff that we're doing in the weapon work as well, all the other stuff. Think in this case about a spiral passing through from the foot. Just concentrate on one side basically as you do it. So think about the right foot, the hip, and the right arm, basically creating a spiral from the ground to the hand, and the ground to the hand. This is what we do. If you think about when we go into this kind of 𝑥𝑦𝑧, when you do this, we're doing the spiral. In that case, the spiral's path is from the back foot. In this case, just to make it kind of, just to focus on one line to make it simpler. Just think about that spiraling into the ground and out from the hand. The spiral that passes to the foot, the spiral that passes to the hand. It's the same spiral, going both ways. Dropping and extending, reaching out. The base of everything we do with ski work, if you think about all the 𝑔𝘰𝘀 work we do, ski, the center, down and out. Basically, them both happening at the same time. Just switching both sides, or just take that, and again, just take your concentration to one side at a time, one leg, one hand. Also useful with the other hand, just place it on where the center of the body is, on the surface of the center. That just allows her to kind of feel what's happening there as well. If you feel that's kind of stuck, it's probably not really doing anything. So just feel that it's a subtle move. It's not a big kind of movement, but it's a sense of it kind of dropping down, sinking and settling. And the feeling that this is kind of heavy. So the center's there, it's really sunken into the ground. Sunken into the ground. Just notice whether it's doing that or it's doing nothing, or it's kind of reaching out forwards. Just notice that in terms of balance, and to be really grounded. And again, if you think about all the weapon work we do, Bokken especially, sense of the center really sinking into the ground as you extend. Extend out. Great. Okay, good. So we'll do a kind of sideline before the strike. Just think about the 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘐 work that we do. So again, just shoulder width apart with it, but just that feeling of rolling up the hand this way, rolling up the hand. Work one side again, and just think about again that kind of path. Really, what we're doing with the sword is that sense that it's not just the hand doing it; it's everything kind of contributes to that movement. So that kind of motion, in this case, really allows her to each time come back to a relaxed position with it. So if you think about when we make that 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘐 movement, really in a unguarded position, it doesn't come from a guard position, and it also doesn't kind of come from this position. So think about just draining, releasing the arms out, and then rolling up into it. It doesn't have to be fast, but it does have to be connected together. The hand needs to move at the moment, I think, about creating the motion, needs to go. And the trick is that the hand can't start that movement. It will hopefully go out first as well. Just think about a nice sharp 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘐. And in terms of an ATEMI, you're basically looking for that blade part of the hand or the heel of the hand. This to basically go towards either the bridge of the nose or basically towards the eyes. This either causes a distraction towards the eyes, or it actually causes a strike, which would basically go into the bridge of the nose, center of the head, and cause this response, which sets up all your techniques or no technique. You don't need it. Yeah. One thing you might notice with this is all this one, which is really useful for doing this in shoulder width. Just notice if the body starts to kind of list this way. So the body that's kind of naturally happening, but just allow it to kind of settle in. Obviously, one shoulder's going forward, one shoulder's going back. But feel if you can settle it in. Settle it into that. Settle it into that. So feel that the main thing. Just look at the alignment. All the ATEMI work. Basically, look at the alignment from the hip to the shoulder. And if at any point that alignment's out, well, I'm probably out of structure. Just think about shoulder to hip and whether it's sinking in. Now that's tricky on extending on because the shoulders wanting to come out. Try and keep it back. So feel that the hips pulling the shoulder down. Pulling the shoulder down a little bit, whilst keeping a nice strong extension. Yeah, nice. That's so good. Okay, we'll do there's obviously another ATEMI in this at this moment when we tend to what's the word? We tend to not do it in the 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘐 work. So we tend to miss it out of the movement, but it's really there in the strike. So we'll do it. We'll separate it out and we'll put it together. But it's basically as I go in for the 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘐, I'm striking down with to the lower ribs, right? And if you look at the old budo manual that I'll send to him that you see him do this, and the writing obviously is in English, but he says basically put the hand towards the head and the other fist in the ribs, basically. So it's a double 𝘠𝗏𝗡𝗅 point in this case. So just play with this. It's just this strike from here, and it's just from the hip and just extending out. Now it's a short strike, so it's the application's there. Obviously, the full strike will be to strike and follow through with it, strike and follow through. But just play with this, just that delivery of the weight here. And again, keep this. Just notice the shoulder, so it's the feeling like you squeeze the strike out from the body, out from the body. So it's this kind of feeling, this kind of feeling. So there's a kind of squeezing of the strike out from the body, trying to stay relaxed. Serena, good morning. So fist, and it's a low strike list. That's so nice. Great. Okay. And again, play with starting this from really a kind of a neutral position. So if you think about where this strike would come from, it's actually going to come from quite a relaxed position. I've actually got the arms down and then coming in straight into it. So think of this every time, just release the arm down and then inject it in from the hip. The only way I can really do that with any power is if the hip engages the fist. Hip engages the fist. If the hand does it, I can add power into it, but it's going to pull the body out, stretch it. So realize that to set up, so like find the ground, hips engage, and then squeeze the fist out from the hip. Squeeze the fist out from the hip. So it's really easy, especially working with any striking work, to start to tension before and then do it, which is useful to a degree. A lot of the ATEMI work we're doing is actually going to come from a really relaxed position, and then you need to basically recruit everything into it at the same time. It's like a one-inch punch. Ta-da! Okay, good. Nice. Here we go. Okay, we'll just look at putting those together now. So you've got the 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘏 hand goes to the head, and you've got the strike which goes to the ribs. I'm basically looking to maybe break a couple of the floating ribs if you want, or just distort the person so that the ikkyo is very easy. So this would be the entry for an ikkyo. And if you've got these, or if you've got the first ATEMI to the head, you don't really need ikkyo to do anything else. And if you get to the point where they protect themselves, the fist is coming in to take the ribs as well. So that really distorts the posture. So it's not a killing blow, it's really looking to distort and facilitate the ikkyo. So just release the arms down, and then again, just choose one hand's going to do the 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘏, and one hand's going to do the strike. So just want them together, up and down, up and down. So again, you've got the down of the weight, the hip initiates, and the extension if you do it. And the first thing, just really look for coordination. So I want both hands to be going together, 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 together. Basically, the power is going to come in the motion rather than me adding something into it. Although obviously tension in the fist is part of it, tension in the hand for the 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘏, because if I don't, I'm going to injure the hand. A little bit of tension in the hands. So, very good. Okay. Okay. Now there's quite a subtle thing in this case. If you think of the ikkyo as you go in, I'm gonna go towards the head. It's not that this fails. It does really what I want it to do in the case that the person's going to take the arm up. What I need to do in that case is also the hip is going to take that open, and what that does is exposes this rib, this whole structure is basically on the center line. So you're going from the point where it's here, it's protected from the core. I'm distracting the person, taking them over and exposing the rib here to basically gain access to it. So think about this as we'll bring the legs into it, but just look for as you do this. This is up through the center line, and then it's going to, as I apply the fist, it's going to just very lightly come away, and it's from the hip. It's basically the hips are slicing the arm away. It's this and it's this, this and this, this and this. So kind of technically, the hand is coming up towards the head first, because that arrives first in terms of distance, because that hand is in front. The hand's going to arrive first. And if the person's switched on, that hand coming up really should cause that hand to also try and raise and protect the head. If they do that, you can continue with the plan. Yeah, that's it. So hand raise it. If you get stuck on that, go back to the hand on the center and just play with kind of raise it up. The hands on the center line and then the hands off the center line. But it's the center stays on. This. And once you've got that, just bring the fist in. So kind of simple movement, actually lots of kind of subtleties in it as well. That's really get from this instance. That's nice. Nice, good. Nice one. Got it. Good. Okay, and then just bring the feet into it. So choose either side or mix them in, whichever you feel comfortable with. Just take the foot forward. Again, look for that position where I'm actually relaxed in the arms, so they're down, heavy, prepared, and find the ground again. And then the hips are going to initiate it. So it's both feet now and both hands. So if you can go straight into this and pull it back, straight into this and then pull it back. And it's really, if you think about the ski work we do with the jaw or anything like this, then the body basically goes together. So it's not just that the front hand goes and then the back foot's left behind. It's both hands, both feet together. Both feet, both hands together. So you're creating a 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘴. You're taking the hand out, and then you're striking those ribs. That's your plan. And this is really the setup for it. Yeah. Perfect setup. Step. You should mix in both sides. A little bit with the right and the left. Boom. Good. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, one point with this was kind of interesting one. If I make this fist too high, in a sense, this is going towards the armpit, into this kind of area. So I start to go into this area. Actually, really it's a kind of lethal strike. Actually, if I really do that with a lot of force, and you go towards the armpit, this area can actually really cause a lot of problems for the person. The ribs not so bad. You can break a couple of ribs, get stuck in it, and the body will distort. So I'm really looking in this case to distort the body rather than, obviously you have a choice. You can take that really up. You could go right to the face with this if the person's really distracted by coming underneath with it. But we'll go into the Ikkyo, but just think about that strike, especially that fist is basically going to cause this response, which is going to distort the person's structure this way, so that I can go then straight onto the elbow this way as well, and basically continue that. They distort the posture, and then I use the elbow to basically maintain that distortion, which is basically where you're taking the Ikkyo. So in solo work terms, you're looking to do that there, and then find this hand is going to basically open out, the hip engaged, and I basically find myself in that position. And you don't even need to grab in this case, just think about the position of that and then rolling this up and then full extension. And you basically got the center line on their center, basically trapped in the arm now. And you're basically stealing their ability to ground the body. And the ATEMI really helps with that too. Distort them out of the structure, and then the arm, the extension maintains that. Yeah, nice. Yeah, good. So I think one of the reasons this was, in a sense, taken out of the basic form is it can disrupt the movement. So if you think about just mixing now, basically looking for the Ikkyo, in which case I'll just go for the head and find the hand. Go for the head and find the hand, and then mixing also trying to fit in the strike as well. So it's a little bit like the Kumijo work we do. If you think about number, say 8, and these kind of moves where I'm making a thrust, coming down and adding a second thrust. And the strikes are basically fitting into my movement rather than being that I kind of strike, move, strike, move, strike, move. You want basically the idea that the strike and the movement is the same thing. So this to this, basically. So the strike to the head, the strike to the ribs, and then the flow into the projection or into the control. So just see if you can basically fit it together now. It shouldn't feel like a kind of boom, extra movement. If it's an extra movement, it's an extra movement rather than a coordinated. That. Yeah, that's it. Nice, great. Oh. Good, and now as you take this a little bit more at a normal pace with it, so you're kind of fitting the strike in, finding the extension. Just check your extension at the end. So obviously you're looking at an Ikkyo. If I go into it with this kind of feeling, I basically start to push the elbow and the body's distorted, and then I've got no ability to apply weight. The person will just move. So the strike's useful, but it's only if I can basically get into a position where they're controlled. This. And I basically get the control in that position. If I start to push and pull, I'm gonna push and pull them, and they will basically fight it, and they'll use it to either take themselves back into posture or basically follow up with another attack. So, then in terms of solo, just check your sense of extension, balance, and where's the ground basically. Can I feel the ground in both of them? Should feel pretty equal in terms of the weight. And in terms of like sword work movement, this is obviously the raise of the cut, right? So if you think about the movements we make to brew like this is basically an extension of this movement by just opening the hands out. And you've got all the tricky parts about the hand me and including the purpose of the hand and the fist, but it's essentially a raising of the sword kind of motion. So think about this as really a kind of deep raise entry in, and then the extent that I can do that is the amount that I can cut with the body for the technique for the Aikido. Okay. Okay, good. So there's one more ATEMI form in this, which is again not really taught, but it's really in the basic form. So if you think about why we don't step through basically through this motion, so I come here, and I've not yet stepped through. So what I'm looking to do is drop the arm down, and basically this leg is in a position where it can basically just come through and kick, and then settle back down, right? And if that's as far as I need to go, I'll go that far. This can just kick in, or I can actually kick in and basically just land the weight in as well. So just play with this. We don't often do kicks in Aikido, and it's really a shame because there's a lot of good kicking options available. They're always going to be kind of low kicks. There's a lot available in terms of our basic form. So find that position down with the Aikido, and then just think about the weight settles in that front leg. I settle into it and bring the foot in, strike, and you can either settle it back down, or kick it and settle through it, or step through it. All the time, that back foot, that front foot, or the front foot in this case, is your anchor for the kick. Again, the more I can ground into that, the more weight I can apply through the leg. And if you think about just our basic again, that step through is the same, really the same dynamic. One of the original applications of this is to basically just kick, trap, and trap the arm. And it all relies on my ability to shift the weight through that back leg.
Michael, instead of kicking, you could use your knee as well, eh?
Yeah, you can use the knee. Really, whatever's. Also, if you fit, what I think about is always like the center line targets, right? So
yeah,
if the ukemi, sometimes you'll get. I teach this if I see this ukemi a lot of the time, this, and the person does this, and they try and
you just.
But it's just straight away that leg's coming around, and I'll be right on top of it with that leg. Even just in the basic, even just if I step through as a basic, I'll take the leg out because that's the way I'm going. But often when people do Aikido, they step past the person, so the person's here, and they do like step past them, slide past them. But if you do that, I'm really out of the technique, and you're in front of me, which is really a bad position for you. If I'm able to escape the lock on the arm, so that steps really like through the person. I think sword work all the time, so it's like the logic's like you're here, I'm going to cut you down, right? So you're here, I'm going to cut you down. So the kick or the step is basically through the person. And I can kick. The other one's like the foot to the face, or the knee to the ribs, or the foot to the knee, whatever's really there. Actually, if as I take the person down, but they all rely on that same thing, which is like ground that front leg, and then able to use the weight, to kick the leg out. That's
don't kick your table's leg out.
Whack! There's that one. Another couple of minutes. Oh, we got it. Okay. Just do a couple more. So last week, just play with the kind of basic form. So without the only ATEMI that's necessary for 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝑚𝑢𝑐hi is the one we keep is the 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝑚𝑢𝑐hi. So if you don't do that, you don't have 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝑚𝑢𝑐hi, obviously. But the other ones are embedded in the technique, but I don't need them to help. But they do facilitate the technique, and they do reveal a lot of things, especially in terms of my distancing. So if I'm in a position here where I can't make that strike to the ribs, I'm too far away. If I'm in a position where I can't make that kick, it means I'm probably out of balance. So they tell me a lot about how I'm using the body in terms of distance, balance, centering, all that kind of stuff. It's all the principles. So tell me are very useful. So just play with either just going in like a basic form that way, and then in that movement you've got all the ATEMI are basically there. They're right inside the technique. And that's why a lot of the ATEMI, what you can just put straight back in. You can take them out, you can put them in. They're just there already anyway. So just a matter of knowing where they are. Whoosh. very good, very good. Okay, we will stop there. So, a little bit of ATEMI. And it's always important to pull yourself back to the idea that ATEMI is not just about striking. ATEMI is about like hitting vital areas of the body. So we use the logic and we use striking, obviously, it's part of it, but it's not just about striking. It's a little bit more. The story's a little bit more complicated than that. So, okay, let's balance. Great. Domo arigato gozaimashita.
Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Okay, great. Very good. You need to cool down.